Bob Zellner, who is the author of The Wrong Side of Murder Creek, a white Southerner in the freedom struggle. He was with SNCC and the NAACP, and they have walked together over 300 miles to Washington, D.C. And, gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Great to be with you again.
And, yeah, welcome back, Mayor. And so, Mayor Adam O'Neill, you're the Republican mayor of Belhaven, North Carolina. We've talked before about this, but not everybody who's watching or listening right now might have heard that conversation. So just give me a snapshot of what happened to Belhaven and why you walked all the way from North Carolina to Washington, D.C.
Well, our first walk had to do with Vidant Health coming to our town, a big conglomerate, nonprofit, came to our community and took over our hospital, promised to maintain and strengthen it and to increase services, when the whole time they knew they were going to close our hospital. Right. And then they closed our hospital in a year that Vidant Health, a nonprofit, made $109 million. Jeez. And also they now have about $700 million in reserves, and they're closing critical access hospitals and actually the first Hill Burton hospital in the country. So anyway, that was the walk July of last year, which Bob walked every step with me. This year, in February, I was talking at a policy summit with the National Rural Health Association, and I was researching for my speech, and I saw where there were 283 rural hospitals looking at closure this year, which blew my mind, because I've seen in Belhaven what happens when a hospital closes, the economic devastation, but also the needless loss of lives. So I told the people at the function that during my speech, if somebody would walk with me, I'd do another walk to D.C. So that's what we did. We had over 20 states participate, and we had a terrific event, a rally yesterday. And what our goal was to get some national attention and start some national debate about these rural hospitals. Right. And I think we did that without a doubt. And number two, we wanted to see if we get some legislation started to take care and save these rural hospitals. And I think we may have done that as well. So,
and if I understand this correctly, you've got really two problems with these rural hospitals. One is basically since I don't want to make this sound too partisan, you're a Republican, but since Reagan stopped enforcing the Sherman Act in 1982, mergers and acquisitions have just exploded across this country, and you got these big companies that are acting like parasites. I mean, or whatever, monsters, big fish eating small fish, and so that's happening. And then on top of that, in those states where Medicaid has not been expanded, those hospitals are more vulnerable because they're just running at a huge loss because the Medicaid is not paying the bill of the poor people.
Well,
right?
the mergers that are going on, it's really not. You're not able to use the same business principles with healthcare as you do with hardware stores, right? Because it's something that's needed. It's a public good, and you have a situation where sometimes these healthcare conglomerates like Vidant Health take a business philosophy or try to do economies of scale and forget that when they close a hospital, people die. See, our hospital didn't close because it could never make money. I had 3 business plans done showing the hospital could succeed. They closed our hospital because they wanted to force patients to another hospital, which was losing a bunch of money,
which
and they didn't know how to fix, which they owned. And the thing that really got us fired up is that they came in, took over our hospital, and the executives knew they were going to close it when they took it over and totally lied to our community. So that's why we really got fired up. These 283 hospitals, 80% of them are in states that haven't accepted Medicaid expansion, 20% are in states that have accepted Medicaid expansion. So you've got the Medicaid expansion, sequester, that's affected some of the reimbursements. That's got to be dealt with. And then you've got these conglomerates coming in and dealing with and eating up small hospitals. Yeah. Medicaid expansion in North Carolina is $3.7 billion that we're turning away right now.
Wow.
Now, if you take $3.7 billion out of the healthcare system in North Carolina, do you think that would have an effect on our state?
Or if you put it in, the effect would be stimulative.
Exactly.
In addition to saving lives. I mean, when your hospital closed, it wasn't just that the guy who had the farm accident and bled out because he couldn't get to a hospital fast enough, or the woman with a heart attack. You've told us these stories. It's not just that. There were probably hundreds of people who worked there who are now out of work,
right?
And now they're on the public dole, as it were, when they should be earning an income.
Exactly.
So, Bob Zellner, the author of The Wrong Side of Murder Creek, a white Southerner in the freedom struggle. You were with SNCC. You were with the NAACP. You're marching with the mayor. Why?
I'm marching with the mayor, Tom, because something that started as a local story is now a national story with 283 hospitals. But the great story here is a progressive story, because a lot of the advances that the 1% have made and the extreme right has been to get people to vote against their own economic interest.
Yeah.
And Reverend Barber and the North Carolina Moral Movement has shown that we can cross partisan lines, race lines, sex lines, all of these things. We can have a fusion politics that makes people vote for the moral thing.
Right.
And so that's what this is about. A civil rights worker and a conservative GOP mayor walking together, 2 years, 283 miles for 283 hospitals. That's the story right now. And this is going to go national. It's a model of grassroots organizing that the national press does not want to admit. We've had over 1,000 people arrested in North Carolina, and we had a demonstration of 80 to 100,000 people at the legislature. Wasn't covered by the national news.
Whoa, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding, and it's a very hidden story that they will not cover, and we're going to insist that they cover it because it's national news.
Yeah, but it's all about corporate America.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
they're very powerful.
Yeah, and this is the problem. For people who want to do something or help somehow, the hashtag that I've got written down here is Save Our Hospital. SaveOurHospital.com is the website. Are there others?
Actually, our website identified with the walk is The Walk, THEWALK, NCTODC.com.
Right.
The Walk, NCTODC.com.
Right.
So you can go in there and learn more about what we're doing.
So,
But I think what's important with Bob being here today is showing America that you can find issues where conservatives, liberals can work together, where all of us can work together, no matter what our politics are. Right. And healthcare has to be one of those areas.
Right. And Bob, just a little side note here. You were with SNCC back in the 1960s, the same time that Bernie Sanders was a SNCC organizer. What took you into that as a white guy, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, I've heard some of the early discussion, and I've always identified as white, but I have always been involved in the movement. I got involved with Dr. King and Rosa Parks when I was a college student in Montgomery, Alabama, over 50 years ago.
Yeah. And
that's why I'm involved with Reverend Barber now. And the mayor and I were both with Bernie Sanders in Selma at this past 50th anniversary of the Bloody Sunday March.
Right.
So this is really pulling people together across partisan lines, and it's going to be a new paradigm for organizing in America. We're not a leaderless movement. We have leaders, local leaders, and this grassroots thing that's happening in North Carolina is going to go national.
Right. And this is great and important stuff. Once again, Mayor O'Neill, last moment here, the website people should go to, what they can do.
The Walk, NCTODC.com. You can go on the website. You can help us out with donations. We've still got expenses we're paying from the walk.
Right.
But more importantly, you can reach out to your congressman, to your senators, your House members and your senators, and let them know that rural hospitals are important, because rural hospitals serve our veterans. 30 to 40% of veterans live in rural areas. Our children live out there. Our friends and family live out there. It's not okay under any circumstance to close 283 rural hospitals.
I absolutely agree. Mayor Adam O'Neill, Bob Zellner, you guys are heroes. Thank you so much for dropping by today. Great to see you.
Tom.
Thank you.